Oh my god, your hand is massive.
Oh shit, not him. Also, I have a spell that turns people into cheese. I can pet you?
You pet it?
I'm gonna pet this. Oh no! Hey everybody, welcome to Discovery Queue, where we look at new games and give opinions and impressions and stuff. I'm Jesse Galena, and I'm here with another member of the Jess E Legion, Jess Hoops.
Hello, it's me, Jess, with no E. Well, actually, just one E. Sorry, no E at the end.
So I'm playing, and I've been playing. I think I've clocked like 20 hours in this, even though some of that has just been left on. I think it's between 12 and 15 of Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon, which is an open world RPG, not the roguelike deck builder that is also a Tainted Grail game. I don't know how the two are connected though. With characters that don't move around a lot, NPCs really stand still, and that's something that I know it's hard to program, but it does bother me a little bit, and it makes the world feel a little less like full of life. That everybody just kind of, and then it's like, oh, I've finished a quest, I have to leave. Fade to black, fade back in, the NPC's gone. Which is weird because enemies run, like there's human enemies that run away, but maybe it's stuff to do with like collision and other spots. Uh-oh. There's loud noises and shaking. It's a lot of birds.
So is that a... Oh my.
Hello. Okay, so that's a really good thing of like, sometimes this game, as I mentioned before we started recording, it is a bunch of highs and lows. And like, there are moments of gorgeous vistas, like coming into this. I haven't seen that bird before. That was a real surprise. I hope I get to fight it at some point. All of what I'm seeing, I should be able to walk to. And this is map number 2, which is actually quite a bit bigger than map 1, which I have mostly, it looks like, explored. This map is, nope, that's the wrong one. Fairly small. Like, there's multiple quests that visit the same areas. Which I kind of like, because when you have to like talk to a ghost that is in a bandit camp that you've already been to, it kind of tells a story of like, oh, these things are connected, and that's really neat. But it doesn't really do a good job of connecting that story. Like I'm doing the, oh, I bet these are connected, and I maybe I'll figure out how in my head, but it's not really clear.
Okay.
So
is there fast travel?
There is, but only at certain points. There are fast travel. Can I see one in the distance? I passed it when I got here. There's like a big blue beacon, if it's one that you've activated. So you could fast travel to those points. So it rewards exploration because then you have more fast travel points. Hi, what's up? Oh, okay. Disgraced Knight? That's cool.
Disgraced Knight.
So this is... I really like the combat in this game. This has been kind of the... Yeah, this is the thing that's been holding it together for me. Is like, you've got dash, you've got parry, and you've got block. But parry and block are only dependent on the things you have equipped. So... Wrong button. In here, you have loadouts with your left and right hand. And you can put whatever you want in them. And this is a really fun thing, is like, here's an offensive weapon, this essence channeler, and it does damage. But it has a little thing for blocking. A bunch of things have like these secondary blocking effects. There's a bunch of fun little builds you can do that, like, depending on what you're using. So like, successful parry creates a small ice explosion, which is pretty sweet.
So I take it you're some kind of a sorcerer or a wizard or something to that effect.
Yes. I went for a magic and melee build. So what I've found is put a bunch of points in movement and then a one-handed weapon, and then I have this spell, which sucks the life out of people, and I could just use it and freaking dodge around them.
That's useful.
Yeah, and then be like, oh, boop, and then bop them. And I have this here that applies poison damage. Don't you throw stuff at me. And I have so much mana that I'm still holding this down. Like, I'm not out of mana yet.
You're about to run out, it looks like.
And now
I assume it's the classic health, magic, stamina.
Yes. Don't drink that health potion, doggone it. Also, don't duck my attacks, you jerk. You disgraced knight. So this has been what I have found to be very enjoyable, is being able to actually use magic and melee at the same time. And I can, like, quick wheel other things. I've also been doing a lot with summons. So I can be like, oh, here's my friend.
Skeleton! Oh, not
Fight
a skeleton.
him.
That's just a guy.
Yeah, but I do have a skeleton as well. And I also have this little guy. Look at this little goblin.
You do love to summon little guys.
Yeah, it's so fun. Just runs in, beats him with hammer. That's dude. I do also have skeleton. Skeleton is very weak.
Oh, that's too bad. I guess it makes sense. Is that the Disgraced Knight's horse?
I think so. But, like, I have my own horse that I can call at any time for faster traveling. There he is.
Ah, there he is.
But can I just...
Did you name him?
I did not. I should have.
Oh, you can pet him? Oh
Well-
my god, your hand is massive.
Yeah, it's...
What is that animation?
I think I need to be this close. No, that's still a little off.
But still.
So that's the thing about this game, is it's very janky.
Yeah.
Like,
I've heard that.
yeah, and on the subject of highs and lows, some of it is fun, where it's like, oh, I've learned that it's kind of faster when you're doing combat to attack and then dodge, and then you'll get your mana or your stamina back faster than when you just attack and wait. Like, you just get a free dodge, basically, to get out of the way and then get your stamina back. So there's little odd things that can happen, or like I'm having a really tough fight, but I can find something to cheese an enemy on, then they get stuck and then I can just beat them up. That can be fun. Then there's the bad jank, where your summons sometimes vanish. Be like, well, how do you know they're invisible and not caught somewhere? Well, because just because they're invisible doesn't mean that they don't pull aggro. Oh shit, not him! Oh no!
Who is this?
It's some boss that shows up at night, and it's scary, and he's gonna kill me. I don't know how to hurt this man. I'm leaving. He's immune to all magic I've shot at him, and he's immune to my attacks, so I'm leaving. I got so distracted, and I don't remember what I was doing. Oh, yeah, so they can turn invisible, but they can still pull aggro, so people will attack them. So they're just swinging at the air. But they can also become invincible. So sometimes they're just swinging at the air.
None of that is
forever.
intended, I assume.
No, none of it is. I'm going to hang out with you guys and stay protected. So that can happen, which when they are invincible and still pull aggro, really great as a bug. Unfortunately, that is not as popular of a bug as them turning invisible or staying put and not pulling aggro. And now I have a permanent loss to my mana. So, like, see how my mana maximum is now lower?
You can't, like, recall them at all? You can't, there's nothing to be, like, undo.
You can. That is a different spell.
Okay.
And you have to shoot them directly.
Oh, okay. I see.
You line it up and go, pa-choo, and then they go away. But if you don't know where they are, say if they're invisible, you can't dispel them. But what you can do is just keep summoning guys, and then eventually the first one you summoned will go away, because I have a max of 4. So now one of them will go away. Boom. So that works, unless you're in the situation that I found myself in earlier in the game, which is I don't have enough mana to cast Dispel or summon another guy, so I just have a permanent no mana bar. Until
Not
the game
ideal.
eventually decided to dispel them when I restarted it. It doesn't do that every time. There's a lot of bugs like that. And the really cool stuff like here where, this applies poison damage on attacks. That's really cool as just a base weapon. It didn't start doing that until I upgraded it, even though it said it should have. And I had the stats in order to use it. So I don't know why. There's another weapon that had a blocking ability that was not working properly. So even when you find cool stuff like that, it's not a guarantee it's going to work, which is a huge bummer because there's so many different things you can do. Actually, I can show you the level up. So each of these give you different things, and that's cool. And then you have a skill tree, and it has multiple things in each of those main stats. And some of them are cool, like in spirituality, where it's like, oh, hey, have an extra summon, increase your summons, you know, when summon dies, everybody gets 10% health back. That's really useful. And then some of them are kind of useless, but also a lot of it just is a little too unintuitive. And some of the other upgrade stuff is just kind of mostly lame.
Oh, no.
Where it's like, get 5% faster attack speed. Or like, oh, get 5%. Nope. We're going to rest till morning. That's nothing. Like, that is an embarrassingly small amount. So I feel like there's quite a few things like that where it just doesn't feel cool to level. Okay. But then there's also secondary leveling. There's a bunch of shrines around, and when you give offerings to them, you get bonuses.
Okay.
So that's a nice little incentive to like explore, and that really makes it worth it. So
I've seen a lot of people saying this, you know, making the obvious comparisons to things like Skyrim and Oblivion. Would you say they're quite similar overall, or what sets this apart?
It's similar because you have like it does feel like someone played Oblivion and then went, this is peak RPGs, and then 20 years later made a game kind of like Oblivion with a few changes, but not nearly as much as what I would expect from like, you know, 20 years since it was its release and the new stuff that we have done with RPGs since then.
Okay.
What are you poking around here for?
Oh, fun cutscene.
You're one of them, aren't you? You better sort
one of who?
Calm down, Bryn.
I don't know. There's several factions. I don't have a lot of info on a bunch of them. There's like, so the base plot is you're in prison and you get broken out by one of the Knights of the Round Table, I think. I forget who it is that breaks you out.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, every time shit hits the fan, these dumbasses bring King Arthur back to life. And like, we need to stop that. He's a mad dude. Like, he's made bad decisions. We can't keep relying on him.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, that's actually a pretty interesting plot. But then you have Arthur in your head, and that guy doesn't know it. And Arthur is telling you stuff about like, oh, I was trying to save the kingdom. Oh, yeah, I made some mistakes. And so the plot being, are you going to, or what it seems like it's going to be, is are you going to trust Arthur and let him get reincarnated? Or are you going to side with this guy and like stand against Arthur when you get all of his power back?
Does Arthur want to continue being reincarnated? I assume so.
He seems a little uncertain.
Okay, fair enough.
So I actually really like that. And the idea of like one of the main problems is people can't move on. Like they always go back to something familiar when, you know, rather than something new. And in a time of reboots and reimaginings and regurgitating, I feel like that's a really timely and interesting idea of like, we have to move on. That is so incredibly minimal in the amount of gameplay I have had, though, and the amount of story that I have unfolded, that it is a cool concept, but it has not been realized.
Okay.
And then there's...
And do you think that's because there's just not as much emphasis on it as you would like, or is there just a massive amount of content that you haven't gotten to yet?
I'm guessing it's a massive amount of content. and I just haven't gotten there yet. Again, I'm like probably 15 hours into the game. So a lot has
the Steam page says 50 to 70 hours. So
yeah.
You're still relatively early, which is crazy.
Yeah. However, if you haven't sold me on the plot after 15 hours, I'm going to say that's on you. Like,
yeah, then who's to say you're going to play for another 50, 60 hours?
So combat is...
I do like what I see of... Oh, sorry. I was going to say I enjoyed the setting for what we've seen of it so far.
Yeah.
The sort of dark fantasy, Arthurian inspired sort of thing, which is cool.
Yeah, and there's some really neat stuff in that with like you're in the aftermath of like a lot of, presumably all of the druids have been burned for reasons. Oh, are you sleeping?
Oh. It looks like it.
Oh. Hello. I can pet you?
You pet it?
I'm gonna pet this. Oh no! All right, well.
Okay, I kind of like that you can pet the hostile animal. Because you would.
I only... it ate a hand! Wait! I literally can't use my left hand.
Oh my god. Can you heal that? Can you regenerate your hand?
I don't know. My arm is literally... Look.
Oh my god.
It's gone.
That's kind of cool.
Okay, and see, when I talk about highs and lows, this is what I'm talking about. How freaking cool that I've got consequences like this. Now I've got to figure out how to get my hand back, or I could, you know, I'm definitely making a separate save file now. Also, this thing, possibly way too tough for me to take on. You know what? Every time you kill one, I'm just going to summon a new one. How about that?
Does mana regenerate automatically, or do you have to...
It regenerates automatically.
Okay.
Well, this is a good strategy, actually. The creativity, when it's being creative, is really cool, and I like it a lot. But there's so many things that are standard that really bog that down. And I wish it was a smaller amount of choices where the majority of which were creative. And then there was just a few that were like, oh yeah, and just, you know, up your mana. Oh, faster attack speed. Sure, okay. But like most of them were more fun and the more interesting stuff that it offers. I do feel like that's really kind of holding it back in a lot of ways. I think they're gonna beat him up.
I hope you get your hand back.
Let's see, weird meat. Well, not yet. If I rest, what if I take a nice 12, 20, 23
How many
hour
hours
nap?
does it take to regrow a hand?
Let's try 23.
The howling of the incoming what?
Oh, the weird. So, I did not get my hand back. Oh no. So the other thing that's causing problems is the weird.
All right.
Which is causing beasts, like that big thing, causing this. Oh boy. Doing a bunch of weird stuff with a Y. And then there's also the like, there's some people in the mountains that are the tribes in the mountains. Oh, let me, I cannot make another save at the moment. That are going against the king, but you know, screw the monarchy, bring it down. I've sided with them. And I think maybe I'm supposed to, because the one round of the night table that I have fought was a total bag of dicks, and I was happy. Like I walk in and he's burning people, and he's like, that guy disagreed with me, so I burned him. And it's like, oh, okay, this is a real easy moral choice boss fight. Got it. But then like,
yeah, I would be inclined to say that we probably shouldn't side with the people who continually resurrect one guy.
Right. So things like that were like cool moments, and some of the Arthur stuff is cool, and like but I feel like a lot of the quests are really shallow and kind of fail at trying to be bigger. So like one of them where I find a guy who is like, hey, I want to... Oh, and Weird does stuff like this to people. So, that's cool. I need to get my hand back. I'm leaving.
What if you can't get your hand back? You must be able to, but what if? All right, lesson learned.
Yeah.
No more petting
wild animals with very large mouths. Maybe if I tried to pet its backside, it wouldn't have bit my hand off. So there was one plot or a story where I got this druid to help me unlock a corrupt area. And I got there, and then in the corrupt area, oh, good, 2 hands again. It's like their dryad comes out and is like, oh, that guy, the guy that I brought with me, is like, that guy ratted out my mom and she died because of it. And I was like, oh, no. And they're like, well, one of us has to be sacrificed here in order to cleanse this space, and you get to choose. And it's like, I don't know who either of you are. I have no context for either of your stories other than what you're saying. Like, it seemed like maybe it was supposed to be a big moment, but I had nothing to go on except...
Yeah.
And so it really didn't feel that great.
Unfortunately, I feel like that's almost an inevitability with sort of these big open world games that are just full of quests. They try to make them all feel consequential in some way, but logistically, you can't dedicate all that much time to establishing these characters that one of them is going to die by the end of it. So
yeah.
It does feel a little silly sometimes.
Yeah, so I wish they'd do some more with that. And there's been a couple quests that I found interesting. Like I had to rescue, I found some lady whose husband had been like basically kidnapped and branded by a gang. So wasn't able to return home, even if like she found him. It's like, well, no one would accept him because he has the branding of this gang. So I had to go in, find him, kill the leader, and then give him the head of the leader after I killed him to be like, look, you can prove you're not part of this. Hey, you wanna help? There you go. That was like a sweet little thing. It was a cute little moment and I liked it. But so many are like, this guy has a toothache and you need to get the recipe for that. Like a solvent for it. It's like, oh, okay. I kind of feel like it might be worth it if you like a janky open world experience on the subject.
Hello?
Okay. All right. If you like a janky open world game and that's what you want, like it's got a decent amount to offer in that. Oh, okay. Bye.
Oh.
So like there's a lot of jank like that. I talked about other stuff. I almost gave this game a complete don't play it because it almost soft locked me.
Very similar to Skyrim.
Yeah.
That was a game that nearly soft locked me so many times that I became incredibly frustrated, but I liked enough about it that I was willing to do the dumbest things and invest a bunch of time into trying to work around all the jank.
Okay. So that's what happened here is I got into a scenario. So I was like, well, I can't progress. Oh, here we go. Perfect. I'll just show it off right now. So this guy is like, hey, blah, 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 whatever.
Why were they mad at you?
Because I had to fight someone to get in here, but you're supposed to fight her when you get the option, but she got aggroed. Yeah, so I have to fight 4 dudes. 5 if I go in there, because there's another one that's not pulled yet. And I can't leave. So...
okay.
Yeah, so everybody's not supposed to be mad at me, but I accidentally aggroed someone who is only supposed to attack you after dialogue, even though it happens multiple times. And so it's like, oh, okay, well, now everybody's mad at me, so now I'm kind of soft-locked. What I had to do was every time I do this, there is a chance one of multiple bugs will happen.
Oh, no.
And what I needed was multiple of those bugs to happen at the same time in order to get out this door. So when you approach... Oh, also, if I approach stealthed, he'll just attack me too. So now I can't do anything.
What bugs enabled you to eventually get out of this room?
It has to, when you start dialogue, not pull you closer to them. So when I walk up, see how it's still moving forward? Sometimes it doesn't do that, and it leaves you further back. There's also another bug where sometimes, I don't know why, you don't get immediately aggroed. So you have to have both of those happen at the same time in order to 180 and run out the door and open it before all that is triggered.
Okay.
I managed to do that, and it worked, and I got out, and that's how I managed to progress the main plot. But that took so much work. And in order to get in a position... Yeah, see? And I'm dead. But, that's a little unreasonable for, a normal person.
Not ideal.
Yeah. And I had saved over my save slot by the time I figured out what happened, and there's only, 4 or 5 autosaves. So I could not get before that person was aggroed. I was just, this is the choice I made, and I had to live with it or start from the beginning. So,
and there are a lot of situations like that, I imagine.
I mean, there might be. That one kind of got me in a few different things, because you also can't enter there until you kill everybody on the outside, which I did, which is then how I learned there's another group of people on the inside who won't be dead. And it's even harder to kill them, because what I did for the other ones was pull them away, get them stuck on things, and then kill them one at a time. Because if you get someone aggroed at you and run away,
well, you're gonna pay for that.
Eventually they will stop, and they'll just stand there. And then they might get re-aggroed, they might not, but you can do some damage, and then eventually they'll start breaking off from each other, and you can pick them off one at a time.
Okay.
So bugs like that, I feel are fun, because then I'm oh, I outsmarted you. I cheesed the system and I won. When you're stuck in a room with people that you're just trying to progress the one main plot line that you have, that doesn't feel good. So this game is a lot of ups and downs, and I feel you really have to be willing to make a lot of save files and be okay with, I might have soft locked myself and I have to undo it in order to play it. And that's kind of a big ask, because I feel the plot itself isn't, the stories I'm hitting aren't really good enough, but the combat is good enough. And sometimes the story is good enough, and sometimes it's very annoying. And there's also 50 more hours in this game that I haven't even experienced yet, but also I've spent 15 in it, and I feel it should have fully hooked me by now. And I don't know where I sit. I feel I'm not going to finish it.
Okay.
But if somebody really wants this kind of experience, well, here it is.
I am tempted, because I like what I see. I'm, of course, worried about the bugs and stuff you've described, but the setting looks really cool. I like the premise. There's also, it looks like there's crafting elements and stuff. How have you found that so far?
Mostly annoying.
Okay.
You can just collect stuff, and it goes in your inventory, but to the bane of my existence, it has a weight. So it goes against your equipment load, and I'm not a strength build. So if I want to have enough stuff to be oh, I want to make food, and I want to be able to craft potions, and I want to be able to make solvents to put my weapon on fire or whatever, I have to deal with all of these things. Ooh, some of them don't actually take up weight, but a bunch of them take up weight.
And do you not have like storage that you can leave them in? Okay.
In particular spots. So like here in this main town, which isn't showing up at the moment, I have a chest like back here.
Okay.
And like over here in that area where it's trying to soft block me, there's a chest like here-ish, and that's the teleport in spot.
Okay.
But then you have to go to those in order to use them. Yeah, I can't craft from my storage box. It has to be on my person.
Okay.
And then I make a thing, and it's like, hey, I made food, and it'll heal me. And then I have to equip that food. Yeah, some of the names are fun. Also, I have a spell that turns people into cheese, and I haven't gotten it to work yet, and I'm upset about that.
Oh, no.
I found one of the good quests.
See people get turned to cheese.
Right? Oh, so these are the other level up things. So these druidic shrines. And it's like, make an offering of animal parts, get this bonus. And then I could say yes. And so I want to keep some animal parts on me. And like not all of them want animal parts. So I do that. Boom.
Are they temporary?
I think they're permanent.
Oh, okay.
The game is not always great about informing you of things. So I think so.
All right.
And they're also...
I wasn't sure if they were... It was one of those situations where you can only have one active at a time and they're just temporary buffs, but I guess we don't know.
I think they're permanent, but yeah, the game is not great at explaining things, so who knows? Also, I love that I can cast... like being mobile while spellcasting is so great. I think that's so fun. So like, I've got my summon spells, and I can summon them up, and while I'm casting, still dodge attacks.
That is nice.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It lets me be an active spellcaster, and then put this guy down and kick him while he's down. And like, actively use this spell while I'm attacking, and while I'm getting my mana back, or while I'm getting my stamina back for another attack, just keep going. There's also fun effects on other spells, like, Hailstone, where I can actually freeze things if I build up enough cold on them and they're frozen. And then you could just get a free hit on them. There's some really cool stuff, but you really have to put up with quite a lot to deal with it. And I feel like...
hopefully a lot of those things will be remedied in the future, perhaps, but...
Maybe. I think some of them will be, but also some of them are like core to this experience. Like...
Yeah.
For how, like, they're not going to redo the skill tree completely to make all of these less boring. So, like, you're not going to redo this to be like, 10% more damage with one-handed attacks is boring. We're going to change that. It's like, no, that's baked in. That's not changing. But there are some minor changes that could be done that would make it better. Bug fixes included, but also just other fun things.
Bug fixes would be great, yeah. I wouldn't mind a 10% increase to one-handed attacks. Like, that'd be something I would probably pick, even though it's boring.
Because so much has happened, and it's a real roller coaster of back and forth. But the good is so good. Like, I got my hand bitten off.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. But also, I almost got soft-locked twice. But yeah, so that's this game. It's mixed feels, but yeah, I feel like if that's the kind of thing someone is into, it's worth looking at. But please go into it knowing you can soft-lock yourself. There are a lot of bugs. But there's some interesting stuff that a few things I haven't seen elsewhere, and I think that's neat.
Yeah.
Oh, you're dead.
I might give it a try. I am curious. I will remember not to pet anything that has big teeth.
All right, we got cheese something. I'm also curious if I can eat the cheese. Oh, go ahead.
Oh. I was going to say, I wonder if the inspiration behind turning someone to cheese was the phrase, like, cheesing an enemy, perhaps. Like, that's an easy way out of a combat encounter. Just cheese them.
Yeah. So I have a cheese meter that's filling.
Are you trying to cheese this deer? You did it.
I did do it. And I can... Oh, it turned into so much cheese.
That's a lot of cheese. I love that that's a thing that you just did.
Also, if it runs away, it loses its cheese stacks, and then it stops being cheesified. I don't know what.
Pasteurized.
All right, build that cheese meter.
That is a lot of cheese. It's a whole deer's worth of cheese.